I'm going to talk about my brand today, which is a high energy rock vocalist with quirky and alternative image. Firstly, we had to work throughout the year on designing some different artifacts to show us as a creative person. And obviously, because my main thing is music, I went to start off with my My main task was to create and record a 4-track EP. I'm just a vocalist, obviously, so I started to collaborate with different people on this. I was quite lucky with being in college that I had two pretty decent musicians already that were able to write with me because they had experience in writing in rock music. So this gave me a really good start to be able to build up some good rock songs. It went from different bits of jamming to recording. The songs developed from being on the acoustic guitar to being full-on big amps and electric guitars. I was quite lucky to have 2 different drummers play on it, which was pretty amazing to have. Basically, I think in some respects I started out with a set plan and it did change due to different reasons like home life, not being able to meet deadlines due to different things like being able to use the recording facilities and stuff like that. But all in all, I think it went really well for my first attempt of making an EP with an ensemble, especially with people who I haven't worked with before. And it was basically, we started with nothing and went to having 4 tracks. I'm just going to play some clips of each of the 4 tracks for you. 2 of them don't have vocals at the moment because they are still in the recording stage, but I'll obviously play some tracks for you. That was track 1 of the EP. The producer was Paul Swindles, who obviously will be having a talk on his production later on. But yeah, I think obviously I've put it, it's very melodic and it's quite pop punky. But for the first track that we made, I think it has quite a lot going on, and I did really enjoy making this track. That song's probably one of my favourite off the EP. I just think it's really raw and in your face. It's quite a short track, but I think it gets the job done, to be honest. There aren't any vocals on that song yet, as they are still in the recording stage, and I do feel like it needs a bit more extra bits of guitar to give it a bit more of a dynamic build throughout the song. The middle and end sections of song 4, which I'm actually really looking forward to finishing off, to be honest, because I think it's a really strong track, and the song has so many different pieces to it. Like, it has a verse, a chorus, a pre-chorus, a middle eight, a bit of a guitar solo. It has so many different parts to it that I think it's a really strong song. Obviously, without vocals, it just needs that extra bit of finishing off, but once the vocals are on it and it's been produced and stuff, I'm sure that it'll be pretty amazing. The second thing I did was I did some research on another type of quirky and alternative fashion, and I choose Harajuku fashion and cosplay. I did do a lot of research over the internet, and I did find that in some respects I kind of already took into perspective some of the things that Harajuku girls do, but I do think that there was a lot more that I could be doing with myself to make myself more individual and enhance my style. But it is very similar to what I would want. I think one of the things that stood out to me was what it says there, which is basically the only criteria is that your outfit must be a thoughtful expression of your individuality, which I think is something that is very important to me, being very individual and having my own style and my own brand. I took that there were 3 different branding tips from Harajuku fashion. And the first one was layering, and this is basically adding as many different layers to your clothing to show the layers of who you are, to show each different aspect of your life. So, you know, music, if you love music and you love animals and you love loads of different things, maybe incorporate these images or these different things into your actual style. The second tip is customising, so obviously, you know, get some clothes, do a bit of cutting, add a bit of detail, things like that. Really makes your own clothing yours at the end of the day, because no one is going to have done that exact design. So I think that's a really big thing that I will be working on. And the last thing is accessorising, which again, having a logo or a slogan, which is basically if music represents me, so maybe if I had a t-shirt with a guitar on, stuff like that, adding these different things show who I am and my individuality. And the colour, obviously, you can see I'm very brightly coloured. I think it's always good to be able to stand out. And I also think that my image matches my music, if you will. It's a very rocky image, and there's very many different aspects to it. As you could see, the songs were very different. Each song was different to the last one, and I'd like that to be the same with my image as well. I did some research on the type of website about different kinds of clothes customisation, and I ended up getting an old school Lads Slipknot t-shirt. I cut some of the sleeves in different places, I cut a few knots in it, and I made it a bit more feminine, quite baggy, and I made it my own so that it wasn't just a standard t-shirt, it was exactly how I wanted it to look, and that no one else would have that t-shirt. I do think it'd be a good idea to extend my brand into some form of alternative clothing range. Firstly, because I found I was very passionate when I started to create these clothes and look into different fashions. I found that I had quite a passion and a flair for it. And also because image is a huge part of my brand. Like, my brand is, you know, a rock vocalist with a quirky and alternative image, which to me shows that my image is half of my brand. Now I'm going to go on to like different explanatory texts that I created. Here is a homemade guitar tab that I made for Jamie so that he could play on my tracks. Just so he could learn it, and it helped him have a structure laid out there in front of him while we were recording. It gave him a good guide, so I feel like it fit its purpose really. And then at the bottom, that's just a little bit about me that I wrote on Twitter. I did write it myself, but I thought just to make sure that I had got my brand out there, I rearranged the words of what my brand are into more of a sentence about who I am. So just to give people an idea of who I am and that I'll be releasing some music and to keep your eyes open for it and stuff like that. Now I'm just going to do a quick acoustic performance of one of my songs from the EP. Please stand it. Two. What?
There we go.
Yeah, I'm fine. Ready? For you. I used to write acoustic songs a few years ago. And I developed how I played my guitar because I only know guitar very basic, I don't claim to be a guitarist. But I developed from standard chords to more being able to use power chords and bar chords, and that's how I wrote the third song. So here is an old track of mine, and these were the intro chords to it. This is the third song that I wrote, which is obviously a lot more rock, but it's to show the development from what I used to write live to how I write now. In the past I had a lot less confidence in my vocals. I think it's mainly because I spent my time singing other people's songs, so I didn't really have my own style, so I felt a bit uncomfortable sometimes, like I was trying to imitate how somebody else sung and I hadn't developed my own style. But after I've developed my vocals more, mainly by just singing around with different rock songs and different bands that I like to listen to and trying to learn their techniques and different phrasing, things like that. So I have took a lot of time doing that. I spend most of my time singing rock songs anyway, so yeah, as it says. This was the chorus for Hot You Like, the acoustic song. It was a lot more softer, and I didn't let it go as much as I wanted to because I was quite withdrawn.
And she remembers now how scared she's been, how she spent those years.
This is the song that you just heard again, but this is just to compare the vocals and the chorus and to show that now I feel more comfortable in putting some power into my voice and slurring some of my words and giving them my own pronunciation. I feel like I have developed myself a lot and I have come a long way from where I started to becoming my brand, especially with my image and my vocal techniques. And I feel like I can only progress from here and get better and more used to my style and write more songs and build up a bigger portfolio. I haven't created any music videos yet due to the fact that the songs aren't 100% finished. I'd like some mastering done to them and the other vocals being put on. But at the moment I do have my own SoundCloud page and I would like to release them as public links to try and get feedback off people. But at the moment, when I first put them up, I'm going to put them up as private links initially to people, and then I'm going to try and make it a bit more of a launch and an event where I can launch my EP. And then they'll become more public. I did an interview with a guitarist from a quite well-known band called Hellfighter. I did it basically just to gather ideas on working as a band, how to build up a band, how to meet different people within my genre, how to build connections. And I think I learned quite a lot from it, to be honest. These were just some of the points that I learned from it. One of the main ones that I did learn was to put yourself out there, play gigs, do different things, promote yourself, look at different opportunities that you can do and see what's good for you. If one gig seems like a really good gig but you're not going to get paid for anything for it, but it's going to give you some loads of publicity, you need to weigh up your options and ensure that you're taking as many of them opportunities as possible to ensure you get noticed and as far as you want. think the other thing that it touched on was that there's so many different ways to make money from your music. One of the main ways that they did was touring, but it did touch on the fact that, you know, you can get royalties from the also from the PRS, from doing different gigs. And obviously the bottom point is having them connections, which is a major thing. You need to go out there, you need to push yourself to the right people. The right people need to see you to ensure that you get noticed. Obviously, to promote this event, I did a few different posts on Facebook, I did posts on Twitter, and I also sent some emails out to different professionals who I knew to try and get them to come to this event. I haven't done much self-promotion at the moment due to the fact that the EP is not ready for release. But I have been telling people about it, making people aware that there will be an release and generating a bit of hype to ensure that there's people ready to listen to it when it's there and that it can just go straight out and people are excited about it. But other ways that I'd like to promote myself in the future are definitely social networking sites, but I wouldn't want to make them my main thing because in the past, you know, they haven't had the best turnouts with certain things. Some people just look at posts and forget about them and things like that, so I don't think that's the main one that I would go from. I would definitely push my SoundCloud as much as I possibly could just to ensure that people were keeping up to date with my releases and getting as much as they wanted from me as an artist. YouTube, I will be making some music videos as I previously have said, so we'll be using YouTube as a point of promotion. Also, with the fact that I was touching on the fact of getting my own clothing range, I think I would use my own clothing as promotion for my music. Thank you all for listening. Does anyone have any questions? No? Cool.
Yeah.
For that. Go on.
You mentioned about sorry, I'm just looking for my notes. SoundCloud and getting feedback. How are you going to go about that?
Well, with the private links, I was thinking more if I could send it to people who were interested in music, and they could either write me an email, or obviously if I know this person, just get them to give me some initial ideas on it really and what they think about it and any tips or advice. But I was mainly aiming that at musicians.
And is this going to be part of this project?
Yeah.
So can you just sort of explain to us what sources you're going to generate feedback from based on this actual unit? Obviously, you mentioned, I've noticed an audience questionnaire. Where else are you going to generate feedback from?
Well, obviously, because there was some people who couldn't show up to this, I'm going to get more professionals to have a look at the actual footage of this and ask them to give me feedback. But also, I do have a music journalist here at the moment who will be writing a bit of a biography for me on my music and my image. Well, my brand as a whole, really. And I think I would also put it on YouTube and kind of open it up to the public and put the questions at the comment box for them to obviously copy and paste and email me back if they are interested in giving me some feedback and helping with my research. Those are my main ideas for that. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thanks.
We're over a little bit behind. Yeah.
Should I just unplug this or do I need to eject it properly or anything?
No, just unplug
That. Who's the half-5 one? Who's the 5:30?
Paul, are you half-5?
Pardon?
You half-5?
Right.
It's supposed to be 6.
Oh, it's alright.
Jamie, you half-5?
You want to get yourself set up? Cheers.
Can I get one of you two to do the video? We have to go.
Can I just come and grab
Do you want to start and
questionnaires
stop in
after?
between?